Okay, let's look started. Yeah, I've just been going through some craziness. I lost my personal Twitter account and our show's Twitter account. Both got like shut down yeah. So, uh, my personal
No,
was just something
why?
crazy. It updated and then kicked me off, and my and the phone number and the email that the account's tied to, which I wasn't
Yeah.
aware, is from an old email and an old phone number. Can't get a hold of anyone on Twitter. It's just all automated. And then
God.
that pods got shut
Yeah.
down because DCMA rules, just sharing videos of our that we weren't supposed to, silly things. So yeah, just started it and just gonna
Phenomenal. Have
redo
you
it.
started one?
The
Have you started
problem
another
is
one?
we're really making a lot of connections and we're doing a lot of fun things for this new season and really wanted to push it and market it. And we were at like 2,400 followers, so it's a we moved
Yeah.
though, so that's I'm just thankful. This I think this interview will be a very good way
Yes.
to help
Yes.
boost us. So yeah, again happy. Okay, let's get started. So been very stressed, so this is gonna be
Oh,
good. This is
bless
gonna be
you.
great. Oh yeah, okay. Mm. Hey, Crunk Chocolate here. I'm not even gonna do any of the like rigmarole, the intros, the fun things that I normally do. Uh, I just want to get because I'm sure the people who are watching right now, they're just like, wait, what? Is this who we think this is? So, listeners, you might recognize the laugh. Uh, you would know her from Manchester City, representing, leading kickoff shows, chatting with our favorite people. She's interviewed me once in Houston. We'll
I
get to that
did.
later. Uh, Shady Gang, say hello to Natalie Pike.
Oh, I
Yes,
like
yes,
that. That's
yes.
awesome. What a great sound effect.
Hey,
Yes.
this is how we
Woo!
welcome people here.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming on. How are you? How's it going?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. I'm home a few hours ago from the Matchday Live show today. So that was what was that for you guys then? Because that was an 11 a.m. kickoff for us. So what time was it for you?
So, five.
5 a.m.
But I actually am doing covering the Women's World Cup for Shades of Blue. So I've
Brilliant.
changed my whole sleep schedule, and those matches start around midnight here.
Yeah. Did you
So
get the
I actually,
Jamaica game?
yes, shout out to Shea Butter FC. They had us on. They did a live watch party. So them and a few other people, we were able to do that and connect with some people. It's been nice. I believe we're going to try to do a live watch party. But the last match, the Jamaican match, it ended. I went directly to bed, slept from 7 to 11, and
Lovely.
I'll do another 3 hours, hopefully around 9 p.m. Wake up for the next set of matches, and that's what I've been doing for the last 4 days.
Oh my goodness, that is committed.
I'm in it. This is my mindset for Shades of Blue season 3. I'm committed. We're
You're
all in.
committed. I wonder
Yes.
if because it could end up being an England USA final. I think with the way the draw's gone, we won't meet unless it's the final.
That would be crazy.
Would be crazy. Yeah.
And
I say
I
we. I'm
understand.
not English, by the way. I'm Scottish, but
Yes,
when it comes to women's
yes,
football, I'm all for the British teams.
yes, understandably so. I feel like you would have to say that, or else people might get a little upset.
Yeah.
Well, I want to have you on Shady Game. We're gonna have Natalie on to just discuss who is Natalie. We see her a lot for Man City, but she's has a life outside of that. She does things outside of that. She's had a life before Manchester City. And I personally would like to know. And since it's my show, this is what we're doing. Oh my goodness.
The power.
Oh, just drunk with it. It also might be those recently woken up, those endorphins. I'm still a little like woozy. I probably should have some coffee.
Oh, bless
Brain
you.
needs to turn on a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, let's start off there. Are you a coffee or a tea person?
I'm a tea drinker, so I
Okay.
actually don't like the taste of coffee at all. I like the smell of it, but I don't like the taste of coffee. But I'm a very British tea drinker, like 5, 6 cups of tea in a day.
And that is what draws me away from tea is the that you do have to like it's the constant boost of caffeine. I just like getting overwhelmed with the caffeine and just having to just ride that rocket for a few hours and
Yeah.
just get a lot of things done.
Yeah, I like a hot drink because obviously it's cold here most of the time. Can you believe
Mm.
this is July, this is the height of our summer, and I'm sitting here in a big woolly jumper. This is just Manchester for you.
Yeah, when all the players returned, that was the first thing that they were all saying is, "Oh, the weather."
You believe the weather,
And of
yeah.
course, they've been out enjoying all these like sunny, beautiful places, and
Yeah.
they were back in
You're welcome
Manchester.
back. It is horrendous here right now.
Oh, so let how did you, I guess, get into the spotlight in the first place to even get to where you are now? Like, are
Really?
you an
Yeah.
actress? How did this become?
Great question. So I actually won a modelling competition in the UK back in 2004. So 19 years ago, I won a national modelling competition. It was like the biggest modelling competition in the UK back then.
Okay,
And I was just about to finish my university degree, and I just kind of rolled with it. And I modelled full time for about 8 years.
brains
Um,
and beauty. Okay.
I thank you. And then when I was modelling full time, I did the City kit. So I've supported City since I got my first season ticket in 1998. So I've supported City for the majority of my life for a long, long time. And when I won this modelling competition, a lot of the sort of stories were about the fact that I'd won this competition and I was a Man City fan, like a City season ticket holder, because there wasn't that many women watching football kind of back in 2004. And then I did some modelling and some bits for the club, so they were kind of aware of me. And then I gave up modelling, got myself a normal job, just kind of wasn't like done with the kind of pressures. And then
Yes.
I swear it was the greatest email I've ever received. I was just sat at my desk, like da, 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 and an email came through. We're starting a match day show, and we'd like a woman. Would you be interested? And I
Man.
was like, yes, I'd be interested. Yes, I would. So I started doing the match day show, the City Square show at the stadium, 2011, 2012. And I did it, I was doing it alongside my normal job. So I worked for a cancer charity here in the UK, and I would doing that Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And then I would be at City as like an extra like hobby doing the City Square stuff. And then,
Fun.
yeah, it's all just kind of the club has grown, the TV, what we do has grown since then. And I've just,
Yes.
been bobbing along for the ride.
So, like you said, the the media, the landscape, what you have done has grown so much. How has that experience been for you? Because, like you said, you've just been around for the ride. You really have been able to see as a season ticket supporter from '98 to
Yeah.
be an inside. You really have almost a very special view from being able to be a supporter to now being in and personally being able to watch the growth of the club.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, had season ticket for such a long time, but I started working for the club the season we won the Premier League for the first time. So to be there to experience everything that involved that, the first trophy lift, the first trophy parade in the city centre, to have seen all that firsthand was amazing. But then to have seen how the club has continued to build on that year after year, and how we've never sort of rested on our laurels, and to have seen the development of the club from the kind of, I remember when they were building the CFA, that the incredible training ground and headquarters, seeing that opening, to seeing Pep come and the level of players. It's been incredible to watch from that point of view, but then to have been a part of the match day stuff that has just grown and grown. So City Square still exists. That's the match day show that we do on home games at the stadium. So it's like it's like a 2 hour entertainment show, I always say, before the game, where we have like live bands and special guests and giveaways and analysis. And that's for the people that are at the stadium. So you can watch it live, or it goes out on the big screens at the stadium. So that still goes on. But then it's been 3 years now that we've been doing Match Day Live. So that is the show that you get to watch on City's social channels all around the world. And I remember obviously the world went into COVID lockdown and football stopped. And then when football came back, City had this idea of streaming this Match Day Live show. And I remember the first one that I did, and we were all in our own houses. I was in my house, Sean Wright Phillips was in his house. Everybody was in their own houses. And it was back, when everyone was just getting to grips with Zoom.
Yes.
And Sean Wright
Yes.
Phillips' camera fell in the middle of the show. And, like everybody just like the cameras were rubbish. No one was like thinking about lighting. And to see that was 3 years ago. I got a memory on my Facebook the other day that I sent to everybody at work, which was just hilarious, of me sat in my front room with my laptop like this, doing a show to the world. So 3 years later, the fact that we now have, if you've ever watched Match Day Live, you'll see the studio. We have a purpose-built studio with 4 cameras, and it was those 3 camera people today, a producer, director, somebody doing the sound and lighting. We have a makeup artist. There's so many people. So there was me presenting today. We had 3 guests. We had Paul Dickoff, David James, and Keith Curl. Then we had
Whoa.
3 camera people, a makeup artist, director, producer, somebody that was on sound and lighting, somebody that was on graphics and editing, and there was another person as well. So, we're talking about, I've just lost count. I've just lost count on my fingers the amount of people that were working on that show today, like 13 people or something that were working on that show.
That's so
And that's
cool.
not to mention everybody that's out in Tokyo as well. So
Hmm.
to see it go from, laptops in living rooms to what it is now has just been insane.
Yes, actually, we just got into the conversation, forgot, because people are probably still thinking, how did Crunk get this meeting, this interview?
Yes, yeah, we
uh,
did. We met last
so
year, didn't we?
yes, in Houston, that was my first Man City experience. I haven't been to Manchester. I live in a small area in Iowa. It was my birthday.
Yes.
Um, on the match day, so I went to all the events, the practice. I actually have a video on my phone of you chatting with Zaba and all of them, like interviewing
Yeah.
them with the phone. And I'm pretty sure in the video I'm like, I'm so close to Natalie. Like just the whole experience was just so cool, being able to see all the players and seeing the drills in person, how fast everything's moving. But I was able to see Riyadh's first touch in person. That is like a dream come true. It's
Unbelievable.
yeah, yeah, truly. And it was the event at this amazing bar that had delicious food, tons of beer, even an indoor soccer place.
Yeah.
Uh, you were there, and a friend of mine came and grabbed you and was like, "It's his birthday. Would you mind
Yeah, you've got
interviewing
to
him?"
speak to him. It's his birthday.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you being the delightful human you are, you said yes. And I I had I'm pretty sure I was using the free scarf they gave us as a bandana.
Nice.
I was a hot, disheveled mess, but you were fantastic, professional, the whole thing. I felt very cool the entire time,
And you made
and
the edit, didn't you? You
I
made it
did.
to the show.
Yes, and I felt very important. I have so like
Good.
the whole thing, all of it was new. Is me meeting so many people that I had known on Twitter in person.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to see a lot of put faces to names and meeting people that I only see on TV and the like watching the match day live stuff. Being able
Yeah.
to get interviewed with Natalie Pike, that it really
Oh,
was cool. And
I'm
then
glad
from
you
there,
enjoyed it, because that's the point of it, isn't it? And
yes,
making you
yes.
taking it around the world.
Yes, and yeah, being surrounded by so many people in blue,
Oh,
it was the coolest because I normally, if anyone sees the badge or anything, it's someone not city, and then occasionally I'll get someone who will be like, "Hey," and they'll show me their phone, and I'll talk to them for 10, 15 minutes,
Oh,
and then we separate. And I don't remember to exchange any information with them because it would be nice to at least WhatsApp, something.
yeah,
But
city
that
connection.
that was a great experience. And then you came back to the States for something. I don't remember what it was, but you were struggling to be able to watch the city match.
Yes, yes,
And you,
that was
yes,
yes,
that was me.
I was back in Texas. I was at a pageant actually. I was taking part in an international pageant in Texas, which was like
Okay.
another random hobby that I have. And it was the first weekend of last season. And I wrote on my Twitter, can anybody help me? How do I watch the West Ham game in Texas?
Yeah, and I was just like, hey, use my Peacock account. And
Yeah.
yes, I was, and you took me up on it.
Yes, I did. Thank you so
Again, I
much.
felt special.
I
Again, I
got
was
to
just
see
like,
Erling Haaland's
yes,
first Premier League goal because of you.
yes. And that was great. And even gave me a quick shout on McKerney's show. And that was really fun watching his face process the words crunk chocolate put together. That was
Yeah,
big heart swelled.
yeah.
That has become a pretty new hobby of mine within the last 6 months because during the city parade, I was on BBC to talk about city and everything, and I kept trying to get the guy to say crunk chocolate, and he wouldn't say it until the absolute end. It was great though. But
We need to
it's
get you on. Have you seen when we do Match Day Live and we've got the screen in the background and we have fans from
yes,
around? We need to get you
yeah,
on that.
please, anytime,
I'll make that my
because
mission.
yes, because you have Steph, David James, Sean Wright. Like naturally,
Yeah,
we're a black podcast, so David James, Sean Wright Phillips, those people, huge, very important to us, very cool to them.
we
Like
had
we have
Alex
met them
Williams on
on.
at the end of last
Yes,
season as well.
yes, yes, yes. And so we just those are people we hopefully eventually want to grow and connect with. So it's really cool to yes, if I'm on match day and I'm just able to be like hi to them,
Yeah,
that's a
yes. I'll
dream.
make
It'd
it
be
my
cool.
mission to get you on this
Yeah,
season.
very much appreciate it. Oh, man. Okay, so I actually I want to focus on so I'm a big fan of fashion.
Okay,
You're a fashionable lady, and with City, you have been rocking a lot of blue lately, and I've been a fan of it. There's even
thank
like
you.
this blue suits that you've been rocking.
Thank you.
I'm saying cheers. Was that like a purposeful thing? Did someone be like, hey, maybe you should do that? Like, how did this new blue Natalie come from?
I much appreciate the fact that you noticed that because a lot of work went into that. So
Hey,
as the season started going on, and the more and more we started winning games, and I started thinking, oh my goodness, like we might win quite a lot of trophies. And I've presented all of the big events for City whenever we've won things, and I was thinking, gosh, I really hope that if we get to the Champions League final, it's me presenting, or if we have a parade, it's me presenting, or if we win the FA Cup, it's me. And as blessed as I am, thank you, I ended up presenting everything. And
yes,
so as it's the closer it started to get towards the end of the season, I started thinking I'm going to need a lot of outfits. I said to my boss, how many outfits am I going to need? And he was like, a lot. So my friends and I started going literally every British website you could think of. Blue dress, blue suit, blue outfit, just trying to find a selection of blue outfits. So I ended up with 5 different blue outfits that I wore when we won the league, and we did the stuff on the pitch at the end of the game. When we won the FA Cup, and I did straight after the game, the players had a private party, and it was for corporates and other people, and I was hosting that. I had a blue suit for that. The Champions League final, of course. The Friday before the Champions League final, there was a big event that City had as well, and then the parade. So I had 5 different blue outfits. As long as it was blue, that's what I needed. Now I've got a wardrobe of blue, and I'm happy about it.
yes, it's perfect. You can use it again. It's oh, so speaking of the presenting, the parade, it was rainy, it was crazy. How was that experience? Because I mean, obviously it was joyful, everyone had a good time, but you're on the production side, so I assume it might not have been as fun and jovial. So how was that
Yeah,
experience?
it was. I had to the next day I had to try and take a step back and rethink about it all, because on the night I found it very stressful and a little bit, not upsetting is not the right word, but because the weather ruined everything that we had
Hmm.
planned to do. Now everybody watching, the players, I know people have told me it was their favorite parade, that it was biblical, it was a party,
Hmm.
it was Manchester. From my sort of side, everything that we'd planned and all the preparation that I'd done, and it all went out the window. So there was kind of a sadness from my point of view that I didn't get to do everything that we'd prepared. But then, I had to take a step back because the reaction to it was incredible. The coverage, and just from speaking to people that were there, I know how much people loved it. I've done I've done every one. So that was my fifth trophy parade, and it's the first time the weather's ruined it, which is amazing, really.
Yeah,
Manchester.
especially.
And again,
Yeah.
not ruined it for me, not for everybody else. I know how much people loved it, and the players absolutely loved it. You could see on their faces how much they
Yes.
loved it when they came, and the is that picture of Jack Grealish on the bus like that the greatest picture we will ever see?
Yes.
Totally, and that was because of the rain. But I was disappointed that I didn't get to do everything from a selfish point of view,
Yeah.
everything that I was prepped to do.
And I wouldn't even say it's selfish because I'm the one who asked for you to talk about it. If I wouldn't have asked, no one would have talked about it, and it wouldn't have been selfish. You would have just kept moving, and that's a very unselfish thing to do. So there we go. It's
Yeah.
fixed. It's fixed. Okay, so what have you been doing this summer? Because it's the quote unquote off season. I'm sure you haven't just been resting on your laurels.
Yeah, I thought I was going to get time off, and I haven't really had any. But I'm actually going on holiday on Thursday for a week with my son, so I'm missing the Bayern Munich game. But it was the only time I could literally fit a holiday in before the Community Shield and before the football season starts. But I continue doing kind of all the other bits and bobs that I do. I do a bit of work in horse racing, and I have a radio show on BBC Radio Manchester that carried on throughout the summer. Although, do you know what, Kronk? Here's an exclusive for you. I've actually not
Ooh,
told anybody other than people at work. I'm leaving my radio show. So um,
okay.
I actually have. I'm going to tell people tomorrow. I have tomorrow, Monday. So for if you're listening to this at a later date, Monday the 24th, Tuesday the 25th of July, and then I'm leaving my radio show. And that I came to that decision just because my summer was so busy and I've not had any time off. And like I say, I've got a holiday coming in a week and the football season starts again. And I do other presenting. So, like I say, horse racing, I do other radio on BBC Radio. I do a Manchester City podcast as well for the BBC with
Yes.
Mike Miney, who's the BBC's Manchester City commentator and does bits of City as well. And everything just got a bit much because I've not had any time off. And I just thought something has to give. And I love my radio show because obviously I love talking about City and United every day. Talking about United for the last 4 years has been a joy. Like it's absolute joy to have been, covering that every day.
Yes.
So I'm really sad that I'm going to be leaving, but it's been the right decision. So I've only got 2 shows of that left, and then I'm going to try and balance my time a little bit more.
Great on you, though. A lot of people are willing to, keep pushing and keep pushing and to say, I'll rest eventually. I'll rest eventually. And I guess that's just me and my American experience when I'm chatting with you, people on the other side who have, vacations and
Yeah,
you relax and enjoy yourselves.
yeah,
It's kind of a foreign aspect. And when I hear
yeah,
you guys talk about it, I'm just like, wait, what? Because I remember had someone on who was at Istanbul for the CL final, and trying to record with him was a little difficult because after he did Istanbul, he then did a vacation after that, and so me as an American, I'm like, wait, you just went on a trip and then you're doing another trip?
That's amazing,
Who
by the
are
way.
you? Is like what? This is I want to
Love
just
that.
move to Europe. But like, can I just move there now? So it's I get it, and you work super hard. I follow. I try to like all the things. I try to comment on
Oh,
all the
thank
things, but also not
you.
too much because you don't want to seem like the crazy person. But
No,
our
I
work
like the crazy people. Woo,
The way that we work is we call people who support our show Shady Gang. And once you're in, we're in. We treat everybody like family. We go
Oh,
hard for each other, sometimes a little too hard. And that's what that's just also kind of how I move. It's just I want to always cheer for people, especially when they are willing to do things like this and take their time to sit with me for a little bit and chat before they start their vacation.
oh, that's a lot. Well, I'm so happy I'm part of the Shady gang.
Yo, most definitely. Most you
I'm
for
in.
sure are like you in my brain were because I helped you with
Yes.
the match and stuff like that. But now that I've had you on the show, it's official. I can clip out the part where you said I'm a part of Shady Gang. Like we're all good now.
Yay.
Man, I guess I don't have I like I said, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have all these questions for you, but I don't really have much more like questions for you. I just want to say that this was great to communicate with you. I will stay in touch with you, and we are now friends. I
Yes,
would like to, yes,
absolutely. Yes, of course.
yes,
Yes,
yeah, you heard that, Shady Gang.
yes,
Ah!
yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Yes. Well, great jumper. You mentioned it. I forgot to say it. That was
July.
the host of me. Well, I'm sitting in here in a fuzzy sweater. It's really hot here, and so I have my air on, but the room that I'm in, my vent is right behind me, so it's just cold air is pushing up my spine. So I needed
Yeah, I
a
really
sweater.
struggled, when we came to Texas last year because it was so hot outside and then
Yes,
so cold inside
yes,
everywhere.
yes.
And I just couldn't get the balance right.
Well, I guess I'm sure you come to America often, but let's stick with the Houston. How was that experience? How was seeing all of the American City fans? I guess, how did we compare to your usual Mancunians that you see and experience with?
I loved it. I loved it. It was incredible. I mean, when we were in the stadium in Houston and then in the stadium in Green Bay, to see how many City fans were there, in the top, singing the songs, it's incredible. Like there was definitely a few times where it took my breath away and I had to kind of take a step back and kind of realize how big this football club has got and how also football, the passion we have for football connects us, regardless of
Mhm.
where we come from and regardless of our backgrounds. Our love for a club, our love for a sport bonds us as people. And yeah, I loved how welcoming it was. There was one moment though, I've got to tell you, that just tickled me and I still love this. So in the game there was at Green Bay, I don't know if you remember, or I don't know if you saw it on TV, there was a streaker. So there was a person that took all their clothes off and ran. I don't, do you call them streakers?
Yes, we do, we do, we
Yeah.
do.
So
Yep.
there was a streaker that ran on the pitch. Now, if that happened in the UK, what would happen was everyone would go, yeah, woo, woo, woo. Yeah, like, and everyone would be cheering them and dancing, and they'd be like, woo, going for it. What happened in America, what happened in Green Bay is people started going, that's not okay. Get off! What are you doing? Your mom's gonna be so ashamed. And the police dragged this guy off, and I remember this guy behind me was going, "What are you doing? You're ruining it!" And I was like, "That's so different from what would have happened in like you lot are so polite and whereas in the UK we'd have just been like, woo, woo, woo. So that was what I noticed was the main difference.
Wow. Interesting. I don't, this, as US sports fans, I don't think we've ever been called polite. So this is very
Mm.
nice.
Yes, yeah, polite in comparison to Premier League fans.
And I watched a video of city players eating barbecue. Did you try any barbecue while you were down
No,
there?
do you know what? I struggled a bit because I'm vegetarian. So,
Okay. Oh yeah,
um,
and in Texas. Yeah.
yeah, and do you know, and that was another thing I noticed. The people in Texas could not have been more polite, more kind, more accommodating. Can we do anything for you whatsoever? What can we do for you? We'll do it. Unless you ask for a meat-free option in a restaurant and then they don't want to know you. They looked at me like I was actually insane. They were like,
Yeah.
no, we don't. We went to a buffet and they were like, no, we don't have anything.
Yeah.
No.
because even like the things that they fry is in
Yeah.
meats fried in that, so they're just like, yeah.
No, we got nothing for you.
The Texas, they love their meat there.
They love their meat
I
there.
have, and
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of tacos. I be that probably would have been your best bet. It's like
I love
a
tacos. Yeah.
lot of vegetarian options for
Yeah.
like tacos and stuff like that. What? So I go to Manchester.
Okay.
Where's the first couple places I should check out, like food or drink wise?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, obviously, you should come to the Etihad and try the food
Yes,
around the stadium, of course.
of
Um,
course.
they have lots of little independent vendors around the stadium as well. So you can
Oh,
actually there's a little Mexican burrito stand at the stadium. There is I don't eat cheese, but there's a very popular grilled cheese stand outside the stadium, which is a little
okay.
Manchester company that does that. So try the little vendors around the Etihad for sure. And then do you know what? I don't go out in Manchester that much anymore because I have a 5-year-old. I'm a single parent, so my social time is minimal. But there's you if you had a little walk around, you'd find a lot of nice little hidden places. If you got off the main track, got off like your Dean's Gates and your main places, and got down some of the hidden tracks, you find some really nice, quaint little cocktail bars, some really nice like independent little restaurants. I kind of more into that sort of going and seeing what I can sort of find down a little
Yes.
back street.
Yes, I love that.
Yes.
Well, you saying you're a vegetarian, you might think that would shut me off and put me in a corner. No, I love food. So, for someone who is a vegetarian, a lot of people think you can't really do anything like decadent or rich. So, for you, what is almost like a cheat meal? What is an extravagant meal for a vegetarian?
Oh, well, I've been out this afternoon and had a Sunday dinner with my friends. So I've had a big Yorkshire pudding, roast potatoes, stuffing, but like a sage and onion stuffing,
Nice.
like parsnips and carrots. And then it was like a mushroom Wellington. So it was huge. It was like this big.
Oh,
And it was like
nice.
mushroom in like a pastry, like, and with like an ale sauce.
Mhm.
I mean, that was, and loads of gravy. That was delicious. But yesterday I had Mexican. So yesterday I had like fajitas, but with like a meat-free alternative. So loads. It's much easier to be a vegetarian these
Oh,
days.
trust me, I know. I cook a lot at home myself. I don't go out a lot here because the food culture around here isn't the best. So I it's just easier to eat nice at home.
Yeah.
And yeah, so all of those things that you were talking about sound great. And I have a lot of friends who are vegan, and that the one of the big things that opened my eyes is we did like a 4 hour trip and we only ate at vegan restaurants, and
Yeah.
they go to where we were going often, so they knew all the best places,
Oh,
and I
nice.
had some of the best nachos in my life. And it was they make their own
Yeah.
cheese that was vegan, and I didn't know they because the place
Wow.
has meat free and meat things if you want to,
Yeah.
but they just ordered the vegan and just started eating, and they were like, "This is the vegan nachos if you want
Yeah.
to wait for your normal nachos." And I was like, "Just so I don't eat all of your nachos, yes, I'll wait." But
Yeah.
those were fantastic. So I
Nice.
that was over a decade ago, but that was when I was like, okay, I can't be
Yeah.
that dumb person who's like, vegetarians don't eat well.
Yeah. You can try things. I like it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No,
Mm.
I've tried many weird things. That's my favorite thing whenever I go to a new place that I've never been is go to and just walk. It's literally
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And especially if I go into a restaurant and I don't understand like the language that's going on or the menu's not in English and
Yeah.
stuff like that, that actually I'm like, yes, let's try those places. I
Oh,
don't
I
know. I'll just
like
start
that.
pointing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just start
Yeah,
pointing and
definitely.
ordering and trying things out.
Yeah, definitely.
Food, fashion, football.
Oh,
Those,
yeah.
yeah, those are things I love
We
covering.
covered it all.
Oh, so what are my last question? I would be this. what are you most looking forward to this doing with City from your perspective, the media perspective, for this next season?
Well, I'm hoping that I might get to go to Saudi Arabia for the World Club
Mm,
Championships, World Club Cup, whatever I'm not sure what they call it. That's it, isn't it? The World Club Cup. Um, I'm hoping that I might get to go there. It's in December. It's like 2 weeks before Christmas, and obviously we've never been in it before, so I don't know what the plans are. So I'm hoping that FIFA might be accommodating. Obviously, when we were in the Champions League final, UEFA gave us a well, didn't gave us, you have to pay for it,
yeah.
a studio overlooking the pitch. So we had incredible access. So
Wow.
I'm really hoping that I'll get to go out there and cover the World Club Cup for City. That would be another
Yeah.
thing to say that I've done that I haven't ever had a chance to do.
All right. Well, now we've put it out in the
Yes,
world. We spoke it into
manifest it.
existence. Let's go. Okay. Well, I I said it the last time. Now I'm completely tapped out of questions. I mean, do you have, as a presenter, as a person who hosts many shows, do you have any questions?
Oh, interesting. Okay. Um, do you, how do you guys find being able to follow City from halfway around the world?
It, well, it's been gotten so much better. 6 years ago, before Peacock and but when it was like NBC Gold, obviously you wouldn't know all the things, but there were a lot of companies, media companies, who weren't. They would do a lot of talk, but wouldn't put the matches up. And me being a City fan, that was when it was early Pep, Pellegrini, so we wouldn't have every match on television. Most matches would be on television, but not every match. And that would be the most frustrating thing because I really wasn't on Twitter like that, and you just had to live on ESPN and the internet, constantly up
Yeah,
refreshing, things like that. Now it's a lot easier. Yeah, we have to wake up a little early in the morning. I'm up early anyway, so it fits everything that we're doing. The way that Manchester City, it's a weird thing to say, but you guys uh, are so available, constantly posting all the shows you guys do, the documentaries. There's so many ways to immerse yourself in Manchester City and connect in our own way, obviously, away. But I feel like people do a great. Man City US does a great job at connecting with people, and I personally feel pretty connected with the club, even though yes, we're super far. I do think Houston last year was a big step. Obviously, doing the show and talking about City 3 to 4 times a week, that helps. Uh,
yeah.
yeah,
Good. I'm glad.
look at this. This is great. This is great. This
Yes,
is nice.
yes. I always imagine you must be absolutely hardcore to be getting up at those times and to be, yeah, when it's not right in front of you. Because obviously, living in Manchester, it's on our newspapers every day. It's right in front of our eyes every day. So, it's just I imagine it's much more difficult to be a fan halfway around the world.
It's it also helps that the football culture city, it's a great community in itself. Manchester, great city with the music and the fashion and what
Yeah,
you get to know about it. That's what really helped. 'Cause I became a City fan technically in 2001. Yeah, 2001. And once I found out about them, I was a goofy little kid. I loved looking up things. I loved reading into them. So that's the first thing I did is I just typed in Manchester City as a city, and I looked into the history and the music and the fabric. And I
yeah.
love like Brit rock. I'm a real
Oh,
big fan.
nice.
Like garage rock, all of
Yeah,
it. Music nowadays, it's all melody and all that stuff, but that's not how it was in America, but that's how it is. You guys love a jam that just makes you want to like dance and have a good time. Lyrics, yes, they can be great, but that's not necessarily the format, the foremost importance. It's vibe, it's energy, and that's very much what I like about it.
Oh, lovely.
So yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
And then
that's our
the
city.
team just happened to start becoming great.
Well done. I know, I think that sometimes. Wasn't I lucky? They were rubbish when I started supporting them.
It, and I started supporting them specifically because a lot of Americans say
Because they were
FIFA.
rubbish.
I was playing FIFA with a friend, and I
Yeah.
was flipping through the leagues, and I got to Division Two, and I saw Manchester City. I saw the emblem, the old emblem, and I was like, oh, there's another team in Manchester. And ever since then, I love the color blue. I love the
Yeah.
specific shade of sky blue.
Same.
So
Same.
I was all in from there. I always hated United. That was before I was even like a huge football fan. It was just
Yeah.
United was always in everything for like
Yeah.
U.S. television. If there was anything soccer, it was going to be United. So I
Yeah.
just knew. Ugh. So once I found out they were City, I was all in. Like, oh, it was meant to be.
Here we are.
And here we are.
Yes.
Well, Shady Gang, again, please give it up for our fantastic guest, Natalie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, well, I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
And Shady Gang, please remember to thumbs up, like, retweet, share, all those other things. Tag Shades of Blue Pod. We are now Shades of Blue Pod. So I'm about to yell our slogan, so don't be too startled.
Hey.
You know the vibes. Shady Gang, Shady Gang, Shady Gang.